Israel has a long, controversial history of holding on to the remains of Palestinian fighters. This practice, deeply rooted in the ongoing conflict, has been a source of immense pain and suffering for Palestinian families. The remains of these fighters are not just bodies, they are symbols of resistance, martyrdom, and the ongoing struggle for Palestinian identity and sovereignty. This tactic is not about honoring the dead. Instead, it serves as a grim reminder of the power dynamics at play. By withholding these remains, Israel aims to send a message of dominance and control, a message that resonates deeply within the Palestinian community and beyond. It's a calculated strategy to exert control, sow discord, and gain leverage in future negotiations with Hamas. The remains become a tool in the broader geopolitical chess game, where every move is meticulously planned to maximize political gain and minimize concessions. The bodies become bargaining chips in a gruesome game of political chess. Each side maneuvers carefully, aware that the stakes are not just political but deeply personal, affecting the lives of countless families who yearn for closure and peace. Families are left in agonizing limbo, denied the closure of a proper burial. The pain of not being able to lay a loved one to rest is compounded by the uncertainty and the constant reminder of the conflict that took their lives. This practice has fueled anger and resentment, deepening the divide between Israelis and Palestinians. The emotional toll is immense, as the unresolved grief festers into a potent source of animosity and distrust. This pursuit of the dead extends to the highest levels of Israeli leadership. Decisions are made in secretive meetings, where the fate of these remains is discussed, not in terms of human dignity, but as strategic assets. Defense ministers have signed secret memorandums, authorizing covert operations to seize and secure these remains. These operations are carried out with precision, often involving significant risk and resources. These missions, shrouded in secrecy, raise disturbing questions about the lengths to which Israel will go to achieve its objectives. The ethical implications are profound, as the dead are used as pawns in a game that shows no signs of ending. The pursuit of the dead becomes an obsession, consuming valuable resources and manpower. This focus on the remains diverts attention and energy from other critical aspects of the conflict, perpetuating a cycle of violence and retribution. This macabre strategy reveals a chilling reality. For Israel, even death offers no escape from the conflict. The dead are not allowed to rest in peace, they are continually drawn back into the fray. There remains a constant reminder of the unresolved tensions. The bodies of Palestinian fighters are not seen as human beings deserving of dignity and death. Instead, they are viewed through the lens of political utility, stripped of their humanity, and reduced to mere instruments of strategy. They are pawns in a never-ending power struggle. This dehumanization is a stark reminder of the broader issues at play, where individual lives and deaths are subsumed by the relentless march of political agendas. This approach only perpetuates the cycle of violence and mistrust, pushing the prospect of peace further out of reach. Each act of withholding remains fuels further resentment, making reconciliation an ever more distant dream. The international community has largely turned a blind eye to this practice. This silence is deafening. The lack of condemnation or action from global powers only emboldens those who perpetuate this cycle of inhumanity. It's time for the world to acknowledge this injustice and demand that Israel cease its inhumane treatment of the dead. The voices of human rights activists and international organizations must be amplified to bring about change. Respect for human dignity, even in death, is not negotiable. It is a fundamental principle that transcends political boundaries and conflicts. It's a fundamental right that must be upheld regardless of political circumstances. The international community must come together to ensure that the dead are treated with the respect and dignity they deserve, and that their families are given the closure they so desperately need. In 2016, then Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon signed a classified memorandum. This document outlined a chilling new directive: prioritize the capture of Hamas militants' bodies. The directive was not just a tactical maneuver, but a strategic shift in the ongoing conflict. This marked a significant escalation in Israel's strategy, transforming the battlefield into a ghoulish competition for the dead. The implications were profound, altering the very nature of military engagements in the region. The goal was clear: deny Hamas the symbolic victories of martyr burials and leverage the remains for future prisoner exchanges. This tactic aimed to undermine the morale of Hamas and its supporters. This directive plunged Israel's intelligence agencies into a shadowy new conflict. The agencies had to adapt quickly to this new focus, reallocating resources and personnel to meet the demands of this grim task. They were tasked with locating, identifying and securing the remains of high-value targets. This required sophisticated intelligence gathering and coordination between various military and intelligence units. This often involved covert operations in dangerous territory, putting soldiers' lives at risk. These missions were fraught with peril, as they had to navigate hostile environments and avoid detection. The pressure to deliver was immense, leading to risky decisions and at times tragic consequences. The stakes were high, and the margin for error was slim. The Katz Memorandum exposed a disturbing truth about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It highlighted the lengths to which both sides were willing to go to gain an advantage, even if it meant exploiting the dead. It revealed a willingness to exploit death and manipulate grief for political gain. This strategy was not just about military tactics but also about psychological warfare, aiming to break the spirit of the enemy. This approach further dehumanized Palestinians in the eyes of Israeli society, fueling a dangerous US versus them mentality. It deepened the divide between the two communities, making reconciliation even more challenging. It also demonstrated a callous disregard for the pain and suffering of Palestinian families, who were denied the right to bury their loved ones with dignity. This added another layer of trauma to an already devastated population. This macabre strategy ultimately proved counterproductive. Instead of weakening Hamas, it galvanized Palestinian resistance and increased support for the militant group. It fueled resentment and anger among Palestinians, strengthening their resolve to resist Israeli occupation. The policy backfired, creating more hostility and violence. It also tarnished Israel's image on the world stage, drawing condemnation from human rights groups and international organizations. The international community viewed this tactic as a violation of human rights and dignity. The pursuit of the dead, instead of fostering dialogue and reconciliation, only deepened the chasm of mistrust and animosity. The conflict became even more entrenched, with both sides digging in their heels, making peace seem like a distant dream. Mohammed Deif, the elusive leader of Hamas's military wing, has become a symbol of Palestinian resistance. Known for his strategic brilliance and ability to evade capture, Deif has been a thorn in the side of Israeli forces for decades. His life is shrouded in mystery, and his very name evokes a sense of both fear and admiration. He has survived numerous assassination attempts, earning him a mythical status among his followers. Each failed attempt to kill him has only added to his legend, making him a figure of almost supernatural resilience. His followers see him as a living martyr, someone who has been chosen by fate to lead their struggle. Israel considers him a high-value target, responsible for countless attacks on Israeli civilians and soldiers. His tactical acumen and ability to orchestrate complex operations have made him a key figure in Hamas's military strategy. The Israeli government has invested significant resources in their efforts to eliminate him, viewing his death as crucial to their security. His death, they believe, would be a significant blow to Hamas's operational capabilities. Deif's unique combination of experience, intelligence, and charisma makes him irreplaceable in the eyes of both his allies and enemies. The loss of such a leader would undoubtedly disrupt Hamas's activities and weaken their resolve. In 2014, during Israel's Operation Protective Edge in Gaza, rumors of Deif's death circulated widely. The airstrike that supposedly killed him was one of the most intense and targeted operations in recent history. News outlets around the world reported on the possibility of his demise, creating a media frenzy. Israeli intelligence agencies believed they had finally eliminated him in an airstrike targeting a building in Gaza City. The building was reduced to rubble, and initial reports suggested that Deif was among the casualties. This operation was seen as a major victory for Israel, a culmination of years of intelligence work and military planning. However, Hamas denied the reports, claiming Deif was alive and well. Their spokespersons were quick to dismiss the rumors, insisting that their leader had once again evaded death. This public denial added another layer of intrigue to the already complex narrative surrounding Deif. The lack of concrete evidence fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. Some believed that Deif had indeed been killed, but that Hamas was hiding the truth to maintain morale. Others thought he had survived but was severely injured, living in hiding to recover. The uncertainty kept both supporters and adversaries guessing. Hamas's secretive burial practices further complicated matters. They often go to great lengths to conceal the identities and locations of their fallen leaders. This secrecy serves multiple purposes, including protecting the dignity of the deceased and preventing their bodies from being used as propaganda tools by their enemies. They often inter their martyrs in unmarked graves or quickly bury them in secret locations. This practice makes it nearly impossible for anyone to confirm the death of key figures like Deif. The lack of a body or a gravesite leaves room for endless speculation and doubt. This tactic is designed to prevent Israel from identifying and potentially seizing the bodies. By keeping the final resting places of their leaders a secret, Hamas denies Israel any form of psychological victory. The uncertainty surrounding the fate of these figures serves as a constant reminder of the ongoing conflict. In Deif's case, this secrecy has made it impossible to confirm or deny his fate. The mystery surrounding his status has become a symbol of the larger struggle between Israel and Hamas. It highlights the lengths to which both sides will go to protect their interests and maintain their narratives. The mystery surrounding Deif's status highlights the challenges Israel faces in its pursuit of Hamas leaders, both dead and alive. The elusive nature of figures like Deif makes it difficult for Israeli intelligence to claim definitive victories. Each failed attempt to capture or kill him serves as a reminder of the limitations of their reach. It also underscores the effectiveness of Hamas's tactics in denying Israel any psychological victories. By keeping the fate of their leaders ambiguous, Hamas maintains a psychological edge. This uncertainty can be demoralizing for Israeli forces and serves to embolden Hamas's supporters. The inability to definitively prove Deif's death has become a source of frustration for Israeli intelligence, demonstrating the limits of their power and reach. This ongoing uncertainty serves as a testament to the complexities and challenges of modern warfare, where information and perception can be as powerful as physical force.